Hey there, I'm Mr. Lemon. In today's video, I'm going to give you a tour of Craterclan's camp. Craterclan's territory is a mix of forest and wide open land. In their old territory in CloudClan, they mostly live on top of open sea cliffs with very little trees. Craterclan's camp is in the area with the most trees and undergrowth. It is a sandy dip in the ground, a crater. Here's a bird's eye view of the camp. The walls of the camp are somewhat steep inclines. The top to the bottom is about 3 feet high or so. The camp is surrounded with bushes and a few trees. The entrance is like a ramp into the camp. There's a smaller, skinnier ramp-like structure that leads into the dirt place, which is just some bushes around the camp. It's also technically another exit out of the camp. In case you can't read my handwriting, clockwise from the entrance, we have the Apprentice Den, entrance to the dirt place, Cloud Rock, which is the clan rock serving as tribute to the Cloud Clan. Cloud Rock is sort of like a tiny cliff that protrudes out of the side of the camp wall. Right next to that is the Leader's Den. Then there's the Med Den. Next to that is the Nursery, and then the tiny Elder's Den. And then lastly, the Warrior's Den, which is like a hole on the side of the camp wall. I didn't draw all the dens in that order, but I'll show you them in the same order so there's less confusion. First is the Apprentice Den. It's made from a fallen tree leaning against the side of the camp wall. They wrapped vines around the trunk to serve as an anchor so that they could weave in a thicket of vines to the trunk. It's pulled tight, and then there's a rock placed on top of it to ensure that the thicket doesn't like blow away or something. Right now, Crowpaw is the only apprentice, so he feels pretty lonely. He cannot wait for Cloverkit and Frostkit to be apprentices. Next, we have the Leader's Den. The Leader's Den is made up from bark leaned against Cloud Rock. You know how sometimes bark will like pop off of a piece of wood and retain its like round shape? It looks sort of like a boat, I guess. That's basically what this wood here is. The underside is like coated with mud and grass, which was dried and hardened to increase its stability. And then vines are draped over the entrance to give Crane Star some privacy. Next is the stone part of the Med Den. It's just a large flat rock leaned against the side of camp. Next to it is a hole in the ground. It was dug out to catch rain so Redbriar always has access to water. On the inside, there's one nest pushed to the side of the den where the roof is lowest. On the other side, along the camp wall, Redbriar dug out holes to put her herbs. She also dries herbs on top of the den in the sun. It has an entrance next to the water hole where some moss has began to grow and drape down. I think eventually the moss will probably touch the ground. It doesn't right now. Redbriar does not like when people use this entrance because she feels that non-med cats don't belong in this part of the den. Also, it's like her private area, so I understand. Now we have the other part of the med den. It's a bush-like thicket thing. This is where Redbriar treats her patients and where they stay if they need to be watched or kept separate from others. It has 2 entrances, one that connects to Redbriar's den and one that connects to the camp. This is sort of drawn from the perspective of the far side of the den looking at the entrance to Redbriar's den. Next, we have the Nursery. This is just a bush. Its branches grow upwards and then arch downwards, creating like a dome. It's reinforced with other vines and plants to make sure that the queens and kits inside don't get sick or cold. The ground in the inside is super soft sand, and it's a bit squishier than the rest of the camp. Next, we have the Elder's Den. This is made up of a dry thicket that was pulled over rocks on either side of the den. This den is small and the newest den added to the clan. It may need to get expanded in the future, but for now it does just fine. The elders prefer to spend their time outside the den anyway, and the small structure allows them to lay close to each other without too much empty space. Lastly, we have the Warrior's Den. This den is a burrow that was dug out long before Craterclan even moved in. It's been abandoned for a super long time, and it was smaller at that point than it is now. Since it's one of the closest to the entrance, it was given to the warriors so they can be ready to protect the clan in case of invasion. They dug it out to make more rooms, and it could even be expanded even further in the future if they need to. During Greenleaf, the older warriors choose nests near the entrance to catch a breeze, and during Leaf Bare, they choose nests near the back to stay warm. Sometimes the warriors have contests to see who gets to choose their nest first each season, and And that was Craterclan's camp. I'd like to make a map for all of the territories, like as a whole, and then a more detailed one of Craterclan's. Maybe when I do that, I'll draw some more important points of interest, like where the Apprentice train or the dangerous areas, things like that. The poll on my community tab ended with Frostkit and Cloverkit both being the protagonists. A poll I did in a Discord channel also ended with the same result. Also, I was thinking about it, and I think maybe I'll try to make a cool animated character for the intros and outros of these kind of videos. For some reason, it just feels wrong to use my real face, but I would totally use it for any other kind of video. I don't know. Anyway, like the video if you like it, follow if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time.